Okay. Welcome. The Great Ace Attorney, with your host, The Great Heat Style. We are resuming from, we had gotten to the first breakpoint in Case 1, where we had just established that all of the witnesses were lying, and for some reason, that doesn't mean that we are not guilty. The word perjury was thrown around, and even the threat of people being held responsible for the murder because of their perjury. But I don't think that's gonna stick, because they did say sorry. If you say sorry after perjuring yourself, it's, you know, the law's hands are tied. They can do nothing. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. That was superb. Ugh. My heart was in my mouth the entire time. It was almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there. You were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping, your knees knocking, arms spaghetti, and you were grinding your teeth. It was a grim sight, but before I knew it, I started finding inconsistencies in the testimonies. I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer. Forget it, it's terrifying. If I get through this, I don't ever want to see the inside of a courtroom again. Anyway, it looks like we've exposed your phantom lady at last. Ms. Giselle Brett. Oh, I forgot about this. A student from Great Britain, is she? That's what I was trying to tell everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. Yes, you have, haven't you? I might not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of observation are one thing I am sure of. Yes, I can see that. So, about this young gentlewoman. Thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. Did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was too busy shooting. I was just on my way out of the restaurant myself. Then on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table, I noticed there was a gun lying on the floor. Just after I bent down and picked it up, bang! I didn't have time to think about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. The waiter ran over to me looking as white as a sheet, and he bundled me... What? He bundled me into some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. Fast thinking by the detective, he apprehended his suspect without a moment's delay. Yes, and because I was shut in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside the dining area. Ah, there you are. Well done, both of you. The old guy? Yes. Get me daguerreotypes of Spider-Man. Professor Mikotoba. Oh, it seems I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You've exceeded my expectations, I have to say. Yes, it seems you planned this from the very start. You're the real murderer of the final case. You arranged things so that I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in this trial. Our modern country is still in its infancy, our justice system even more so. Which is why I firmly believe that we need to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can. I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study tour to Great Britain being cancelled. Well, it makes no difference. Lawyer or otherwise, if I'm the kind of man who can't help his best friend avert the worst crisis of his life, I shouldn't waste everyone's time by going to study overseas anyway. What? What are you saying, Kazuma? So that's your stance. I was afraid you'd feel that way. Kazuma! Well then, it looks like it all comes down to you, young man. To me? Yes. You need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in that restaurant. I must say, I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case. Come to think of it, he said the same thing earlier this morning, didn't he? If you don't mind me asking, Professor, did you know the victim? Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. John H. Wilson was a visiting professor at UMA. And it was I who invited him. Oh, I see. I didn't know that before. Anyway, you are about to go into battle. The victim was a university professor from Great Britain. They've repeated it so many times. Have all the Phoenix Wright games been this repetitive? Maybe it's just because it sounds weird to specifically say, like, he was a university professor from Great Britain. It feels like those words in conjunction have been used at least a dozen times already in the 2 hours we've been playing. And a well-known one at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible. But let's not forget who we're going up against. The gentlewoman whose involvement our police bureau went to extraordinary lengths to hide. Yes, and I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal to quash your case. But I've no doubt that you pair will put up a good fight right to the last. Best of luck. Thank you. Now then. I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There's something I think we may need. Kashikomarimashita. Good luck, Kazuma-sama. Defendant Naruhodo. Court recess is over. Please make your way back inside the courtroom at once. It's time. Let's get back to it, partner. Let's go in there and deal a decisive blow before those old fossils know what's hit them. Kazuma. What? Thank you. Really. Hontoni. What for? Well, if you hadn't said you believed me, then I'm fairly sure I'd already have been found guilty by now. Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer and as a friend. Coming from you, that means a lot. If I'm found guilty in this trial, he's really going to give up on his dream of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. So this isn't just my battle anymore. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose. Alright then. Oh, alright then. I'll save the thank yous for after the trial. You can treat me to one of those sukiyaki meals I like from the Yume cafeteria on University Street. With an extra large portion, of course. The man likes a lot of sukiyaki. Not just a little. Hi-yo, Serp. How are you? We have only just begun. The court hereby resumes the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Prosecutor Ouchi, have you managed to subpoena the witness? Tired? Blah. I'm stuck in forever napville now. I sleep like 4 hours at night and then take a 3-hour nap in the afternoon. And can do nothing to fix this situation. Which leaves me not even... I wasn't even sure, like, as I went to start the stream, I'm like, is it Thursday? I have no idea, but it is. Also, I went and looked up. Ouchi was the previous guys in English were Winston Payne and Gaspin Payne, but their Japanese names, their surname was Ouchi. So that's why I had heard it before, only because I had seen what their name is in Japanese. Yes, Your Excellency, against all odds. Sleep schedule forever drifting forwardsville. I don't know that I wind up in that situation a lot. I feel like it doesn't drift so much as just shatters. The only time it gets messed up is when it gets completely messed up. And thanks to a certain young stripling, the prosecution is now under rather painful scrutiny from the government. Ugh, sorry. Let the government scrutinize. That's their job. It's nothing to worry about. It's highly unlikely that the good relations we've forged with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. Will you still think it's nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down and our nation founders? Again, terribly sorry. If the friendship between our nations is really so fragile, then the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on. You really have nothing to worry about, Ryunosuke. What do you mean? A secret trial? Anxiety over some foreign government's opinions? A bungled investigation? Is it Shadow Bungle? There was a thread, as there always is, on Reddit about Cape Westwind. Somebody getting to Cape Westwind and having everybody meme on them. And someone was explaining the joke, and they're like, oh, well, what people will do is they'll post strats from other fights, or, you know, just nonsensical strats. I'm like, hey, CCCW Pyramid Head Shadow Bungle is not a nonsensical strat. You shut your mouth. I thought that was very clever. I think that's a great... I think you guys, if you guys haven't cleared P3 yet, you should be using CCCW Pyramid Head Shadow Bungle. It's better than it sounds. Well, it's worse than it sounds, because the name sounds perfect. Is this what our nation's justice system is? Is this the Supreme Court of Japan or of England? Shut up. Shut up, you jumped-up rookie boy. Nobody calls me a jumped-up rookie boy. You and your friend know nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in. By aligning ourselves with this great world power, we'll become strong. Diplomacy has never been more critical. Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our futures. I won't deny that I'm no expert. I'm just a student, and one who could arguably study harder too. But standing here now in our Supreme Court, there's one thing that I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth in its justice system is a country with no future at all. Bing. Bing. Double bing. Well said, Ryunosuke. Despite the wide-eyed look of terror. You little brats! Thank you, Counsel. This court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system and exists solely for the pursuance of truth. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the next witness taking the stand. The visiting student from Great Britain, Ms. Giselle Brett. Yes. Your Excellency, Dogeza, Ors. Like all Brits, she is wearing a swan hat instead of an American flag on her head. Well, what a delight it is to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan, and from such a distant land. Tea. Someone bring English tea. In England, no discussions take place without tea. In America, no discussions take place without soda. That's why we're all put on a little couple of pounds. Why is he on the wrong side of the thing? Oh no, we're looking at him from where we're standing. Is that true? No idea. So, could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court? Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I've been working undercover as the head waiter at the Carnival, but my Yes, we all know about you already. Inspector Hosonaga, where are your manners? In England, it's always ladies first. Is it true? No idea. More importantly, a little earlier today, you said something to me. You said your true powers of observation are the one thing you're sure of. Oh yes, I think I did, didn't I? Yet her description for this amazing sight was simply a woman. Sorry, Ryunosuke, but your powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely lacking. Guilty. So, dear lady, once again, if we may trouble you for your name and occupation, please. She said it in English. We don't speak that nonsense language over here. How are they actually going to do... So, wait. What was Franziska... Oh, she was German, right? They made her German. Did she say German things? Maybe, maybe not. What's her name definitely said Europe words all the time. But did they ever have someone who was like, here I am and I speak English. Sorry, everyone. You'll have to translate for me. They never did that in a Phoenix Wright game. They had the guy who spoke in Wingdings in the Miles Edgeworth game. I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but what? Oh, Donald Kapitän. The lady says her name is Giselle Brett. She comes from London, England. I can't see London, England without thinking of Axe Cop. I am the Queen of London, England. She's a visiting research student currently enrolled in UMay University's medical faculty. Oh my, what a rare treat to hear the dulcet tones of the delightful language of the British people. I am afraid I don't understand a word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird's song. As far as I can tell, the detective is translating her words faithfully enough. Yes, I agree. You'll obviously do fine in England, Kazuma. Her English doesn't rattle you at all, does it? Nor you. You've clearly been paying attention in your English classes, Ryunosuke. The court thanks the beautiful lady for taking the stand. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. 3 days ago, at a restaurant called Le Carnaval, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe that you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct? Gesundheit. Oh, I don't know any more words in German. She says yes. This could take some time. Are they having a goof on the fact that they're like, this murder trial could take a whole day if we sit here and have to listen to a translated transcript. So even though she's studying here in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese. Steve Irwin, blah, 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 blah. She'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. She says she was due to make a presentation at the university, so she had to leave immediately. Interesting, when you're the one who engineered her escape. I was just following special orders from the Bureau. Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to cast your eyes over this photographic print? Seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime, could it be that your resplendent eyes caught sight of the wicked perpetrator, perhaps? Apparently it was a very frightening, and sorrowful sight.
Do you mean to say?
Yes. It would appear the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right there in this courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood.
Order! Order in the court!
Did you hear that, Your Excellency? Here we have an absolutely conclusive witness statement. Well, it looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is.
Unfortunately, I will have to ask you to formally testify, if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight you described.
No, ich bin wieder hier to something. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beef steak. Stalingrad something. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor, and they got into a fierce argument. Then, not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. The gun was in the Swan.
Yes!
There we go! I missed what was being said.
This is a condemning testimony indeed.
Yes! No! We get yes and then no. I didn't have any kind of argument with the professor at all.
Quiet, you filthy wretch. Look at you, you black-hearted blackguard. And look at this snow-white angel. I'm sure even a dark-minded scoundrel like you can imagine whose words the court is going to believe.
Ugh. You're still making the same mistakes, Ryunosuke. You mustn't blurt out when you're goaded like that. That's a lesson you need to learn. Ugh, but he's so annoying. Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took statements from this lady and the two witnesses who testified before and reported back to the Bureau. It was decided that Ms. Brett was not involved, so I let her go. The testimonies of the last two witnesses were completely worthless, however. Well, even so. On the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit as she is today, and the gun was in the Swan. What was it? Was it one of the awkward zombie webcomics? I forget what the gun was in, but I'm ripping off somebody's comic where they're like, the gun was in the whatever, and then you go through 3 hours of court, and then just before they ask you, your sidekick is like, what if the gun was in the thing? As you can see, there is nowhere about her wait. Is the gun actually gonna... Go for it. Go for it. I think she could hide a gun almost anywhere in that outfit if she wanted to. Unless and until the precise location where the witness is to have hidden the weapon can be shown. This is stupid. Oh, I love this. I hope she takes another gun out of the Swan and shoots me and I die. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. Those are the witness's own words on the matter. She said, Poketo ga arimasen. Arg! That's ridiculous. If only I was allowed to lift up her dress, I could prove it? Come on, dude. Don't think about doing anything rash, Ryunosuke. But I didn't fire the gun I picked up. There must have been another gun there that day. You're right about that, which means this lady was hiding a gun somewhere. Yes, that's what we have to prove now. And to do so, we will need to pull her testimony apart. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Oh, yes, Your Excellency. I mean, yes, Your Excellency.
Yes!
Yes! After 2 p.m., in fact. That's really quite a late lunch, isn't it?
Objection!
You don't keep up with the latest fashions from Britain, do you? Late luncheons are en vogue, and also they say schedule instead of schedule. Isn't that right?
No.
Ugh!
A decisive English no has quite a sting to it. She never learned the 23 different ways to say no in Japanese, like the Dogen video. Or 38, or whatever it is. The gentlewoman is currently working in the victim's research laboratory, it seems, so it was apparently a daily occurrence that they would lunch together. But on the day in question, the victim had another appointment at the clinic first. Yes, which we can prove from the medical report card that was submitted as evidence earlier. That's right. Miss Brett and the victim went to lunch following the victim's treatment, which is why it was so late.
Yes, that all makes perfect sense. Such wonderful logic. What a shining example of English intelligence this fine gentlewoman is.
So you both arrived at the restaurant. What happened next? I'm able to eat, so I ordered for myself only.
Yes!
Yes!
He was unable to eat, you say. And that was because he'd just had a tooth removed at Hata Clinic, right? Correct? That's right. You're supposed to actually check with the witness before answering. Yeah, that's not allowed. Was Miss Brett aware of that fact? It seems so, yes. She heard that the professor was to have some dental treatment. So that would mean that it was you who ate the steak pictured here. Is that right, Miss Brett? That's right, yes. The print you have there shows the table exactly as it was left after the horrifying events. Exactly as it was left.
Dear me, what a harrowing experience to have traveled to a distant island on the far side of the world and be embroiled in such a tragic incident. Have no fear, my dear lady. I will swear I will crush the evil fiend that has subjected you to this terrible plight.
So the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all? That's right, other than some carbonated water. Just water? Yes. The professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water. So it appears that the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each. They each raised a glass of carbonated water. What do you think, Ryunosuke, about the witness's last statement? Well, it's very meaningful. All statements have meaning. That's why we call them statements. That last statement of yours, Miss Brett, has a profound bearing on this case.
Well, well, how fascinating. Do tell us, what is this profound bearing,
The significance of the statement will become apparent when the time is right. The defense calls for the witness's last statement to be formally added to the testimony. Ah, so he doesn't even know that trick yet.
Well sidestepped, counsel. Very well, Miss Brett. Kindly repeat what you just said to be added to your official testimony.
Her mask smiles. That's cute. She should have a hat where the hat smiles whenever she smiles. Gladly, she said. That was brilliant, Kazuma. I'm going to remember that one and also pass it down to my great-great-grandson, who will also be a lawyer. Which one? The significance will become apparent when the time is right. I could really use that phrase. I'd hope there are some more useful tips you're picking up from this experience than that, Ryunosuke. Cheers over a glass of carbonated water. Yeah, there's only one glass. So there's that. Alright, let's press anyway.
Yes!
Yes! So both you and the professor drank this carbonated water out of the same cup, huh? You get his COVID that way. Don't do it. Yes. Being the waiter, I poured the 2 glasses myself. I clearly remember doing so. He perjured. Except you're actually a detective. And the beef steak, that was for you, Miss Brett? Nods in English. The lady says she'd heard that it was not customary to eat beef here until Japan opened its doors to the world. Yes, that's true. What a frightful place, is the lady's opinion. I've heard it's not customary to eat sashimi in Great Britain. Now that's frightful. Every country has its own cuisine. As long as people have food to eat, does it matter what it is? We got a real level-your dad over here. True, come to think of it. The first time I tried carbonated water, it was much more of a shock than the first time I tried beef. But anyway, back to this witness's statement. Somehow, I feel like there's something out of place in what she's saying. Suddenly turned into Stinko Man for some reason. We need to pounce on even the slightest thing now, because you never know what might lead us to our goal. Our goal of turning this trial right around and driving home. We have beefsteak at home. Beefsteak at home. Understood, Kazuma. Press on the last statement, even though it doesn't matter. This big old phony.
Yes!
Yes! I never got into an argument with the professor. All I did when I noticed him was go over to say hello. Please, don't get angry with me. No, I wasn't directing that retort at you. It was meant for the lady next to you. But anyway, as I said, I did not argue with the professor, he said calmly. I'm afraid your words are in vain. Sorry? Miss Brett does not appear to speak Japanese. No, of course not. Japanese is such a cumbersome language anyway. English is the future. We must all... Oh my god, really? We're going there? Now I want to see the Japanese version of this. I mean, I did before, but I want to again. I wonder if the prosecution will feel that way forever, or only in the presence of a beautiful woman. Well, that beautiful woman is telling blatant lies with a completely straight face. I have to find something that will unravel her testimony, no matter how seemingly insignificant it may be. Anyway, it seems that after the argument, the accused briefly returned to his own seat. That part ties in with what you said, doesn't it? Right. Yes, I still had some coffee to drink. And the next time you got up after that was when I'd finished my coffee and stood up to leave. Oh, wait, what am I doing?
Yes!
Yes, I did. Yes seems like a very strange localization, given the number of times he says this in order to refute what was just said. Dakara! I did not shoot that gun. And like I said, there's no point repeating that assertion over and over. Well, I wasn't expecting to be attacked by my own side. Nevertheless, defendant, you can't deny that when the shot rang out in the restaurant, you had a gun in your hand. Well, yes, that's true, but But all I did was pick up the gun I saw on the floor next to the professor as I was leaving the restaurant. In fact, yes, there was someone much closer to the victim than me at that time. The highly suspicious lady in the stand.
That will do, you dirty, rotten scoundrel.
Dirty?
Your baseless accusations could very well cause an international incident, little son.
Booyah. It seems to me that your accusation is just as baseless as ours.
What nonsense.
The lady is merely stating what she saw. And this is already an international incident as far as I'm concerned, anyway. I don't carry a gun myself.
Yes!
Yes! It's all very well saying that, but can you prove it? Absolutely. I verified it personally. You verified it? Yes. Immediately after the incident, I checked to make sure the lady was not carrying a weapon. I distinctly remember her saying, "I'm not." That's all you did? You just asked her? Surely you carried out a physical search, Inspector. No. Why on earth not?
The honorable English gentlewoman clearly stated she did not possess a weapon. There was obviously no need for further probing into the matter.
Or there was no permission given for any further probing into the matter, perhaps.
Think what you will, but if you're going to continue with this preposterous claim that the refined lady was concealing a firearm, the prosecution demands you support your assertion with facts.
In other words, he wants evidence.
Ugh.
The lady wishes to point out that, of course, she wanted to stay and assist with the investigation, but she was in a hurry to give a presentation at the university, so she was compelled to leave. Not to mention the fact that your office had told you to get the woman out of there. Not get her out of there, I just urged her to leave. The lady would like to point out that she in no way meant to run away from the scene of the crime, which is why she is only too happy to cooperate and testify here in court today, of course.
Unlike a certain student who refuses to admit when the game is up. You could at least have the courtesy to pay attention when I'm goading you.
So she's maintaining that you got into an argument with the professor, at the end of which you shot him, which is an out and out, totally unfounded lie. Still, her statement is very compelling. After all, she's an elegant, refined, young, and beautiful gentlewoman from Great Britain, which we have to keep saying. In stark contrast to you, dressed from head to toe in a dull black school uniform. I'm dressed exactly the same way you are, except for the flapping red ribbons. Well, anyway, this is our only chance to expose her testimony as the fiction that it is. If we can't do that, the trial's over. Even you, with your thick skin, must be able to feel the murderous looks you're getting from around the room. Only too well. I feel half dead already. And the fact that I can't see a single inconsistency in her testimony doesn't make me feel any better either. First thing to do is press her on any of her I know that already. You freaking nonsense generator. Do that and an opening will present itself, I promise you. Need to expose the true face of this exotic foreigner that's hiding behind the mask. That's what I should be aiming for in this cross-examination. Alright. Secrets in the water. Whoops. Back up one. You said cheers, huh? Did you say cheers with only a single glass? Did you drink out of the vase?
Yes!
Yes! That's it! Let me just confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene, that it was exactly as it was left. That is correct, the lady says. Well, It's odd. Very odd. Dear me. What's odd is the defense's inability to express itself. Ugh. Yunosuke, what is it about the print that looks so odd to you? Well, obviously it's the kanpai. She said she didn't speak any Japanese, but I bet she said kanpai.
The kanpai?
Ms. Brett just told us that she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be 2 glasses on the table, not 1.
Ah! You're quite right, Counsel. There's only 1 glass picture here. Are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over minutia? What possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on the case?
Minutia, you say? Could it be that the detective here removed a glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Of course not. I would never do something so reckless. But there should have been 2 glasses on the table. Or are you going to try to tell me that you can clink with only 1? You're quite right. I certainly took 2 glasses to the table.
Inspector, what did the lady say?
Shub! Welcome. It would seem that it was Ms. Brett who took the glass from the table.
What?
It was all so terrifying, everything that happened. I panicked and thought I should try to hide the fact that I'd been there at all, she's saying.
Good gracious!
Sorry.
There, as I assured the court before, this is of no consequence at all.
Oh, please.
We must remember that this student had just murdered the lady's luncheon companion before her eyes.
Just a little bit of... just a little bit of perjury as a treat.
Who could blame her for concealing a glass or 2 in her state of disarray?
That's absurd!
Oh, really? So do we take it that you are now going to accuse this vulnerable, young and beautiful woman of mischief?
What? No. This can't be put down to mischief. I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene. It would seem that she slipped it into a small handbag. A small gun-shaped handbag she was carrying.
A handbag, you say?
Yes, Your Excellency, a small handheld pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England.
So the beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene now. However, the fact remains that this glass has absolutely no bearing on the case.
You would think that if she shot him and brought the gun there in a handbag, that she would just lie and say, I just walked out with the glass in my hand, whatever, thug life. Because then we couldn't prove anything. She's just handing the case to us. This student had been... I also just really like the image of her drinking water and calling that thug life.
This student has been trying to confuse the court with logical reasoning, but in the end it comes to nothing. No more pretentious accusations. You've wasted enough time already.
You have it in the bag. The handbag.
Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed the glass. I think henceforth we can consider the matter to have no bearing on the case. Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement?
Well, I don't know, really. If you want to pursue this matter further, You're going to need to show that it has some deeper significance. Yes, you're right. Ojo-sama Thug Life. Obviously the handbag. Wait! The lady put the glass in her handbag, you say?
Yes, do try to keep up. It's already been explained to the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items and guns.
Let me see. A little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag, in which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun.
You're right.
Well done, partner. I had a feeling you'd pick up on that too.
What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard?
Oh, no. This is, So, the original games encompass... There's 6 of them altogether. And I actually didn't realize this. There's the 6 games that are considered the main series. Then there's Miles Edgeworth Investigations 1 and 2. And then there's the Great Ace Attorney Journeys and Adventure, or Adventure and whatever they are. Those 2 side games were packaged together and called Chronicles. So they're not considered part of the main series, but they're also not a retelling of anything. It's really very simple. The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire that gun, we can deduce there must have been another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will.
You can't seriously be suggesting...
Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Did you or did you not search Miss Giselle Brett's handbag on the day of the murder? No, sir, I did not. As I thought. In other words, a gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag.
No!
Order! Order! Order!
What is the meaning of this, Inspector?
The meaning of what, Prosecutor Ouchie?
Why on earth did you not have that lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? Thanks to your shadow-bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations.
Brilliant work, partner. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask. Do you think so, Kazuma? Yep, he's dying again. Well, what a sorry situation. Certainly you have no faith in the police. As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting, simply because it was unnecessary. Unnecessary in what way? I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. I have a piece of evidence here that I had completely forgotten about. This photographic print. The print is of a Oh! What's that? What's that tattoo? What's that tattoo? He's a... Oh! He's the owner of Texas Beefsteak Co., meaning he would have ordered and eaten a steak even if the dentist told him not to. Open and shut case. This print is of a photograph I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. As you can see, it clearly shows Ms. Brett's handbag.
Well, I never. You can see right through to what's inside.
That's right. Apparently meshwork bags like these are the height of fashion in London at the moment.
So the contents are clearly visible.
Exactly. So there was no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious.
Ag!
As you can see, there's nothing to imply Ms. Brett's guilt here. Thank you for helping to prove that, Naruhodo-san.
Ooh-wog!
Took extra damage from bouncing off the wall. Order! Order! He missed the opportunity to juggle me, though. Inspector Hosonaga, you will submit that print as evidence at once. Certainly, Your Excellency. The photograph of the handbag has been entered into the court record. I think you've had long enough to cross-examine the witness, counsel. Oh, and what do you know? Written on the back of the photograph is, I definitely am the murderer who did it, and it was me. Oh, you can't turn it around. There's that bull, though. Whatever that means. The court has now been shown considerable evidence. We had a fun link, fun video. I'll check it later. As the photographic print just submitted into the court record appears to have no further significance, I am satisfied there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Indeed, there is only one logical conclusion, that the pathetic rookie slumped over the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime. Wait a minute. Cows are the natural enemies of swans. Of course she shot him. No. Just when I thought I was beginning to turn things around, I'm in a worse situation than I was at the start. Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. Now that the cross-examination of the witness is over, there's no way to force the trial to continue. What? You mean this is it? I must say you put up quite a fight for a rookie student, but the weak are meat while the strong eat. You were wasting your time. There is no way to defeat true justice. A fact you can chew on to your heart's content from the inside of your cell. This can't be happening. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime that I didn't commit? And Kazuma, his dream of going to study in Great Britain will slip through his fingers. Kazuma. What? Is there really no chance now of turning this trial around? You heard the judge. There's nothing about that last photograph the detective produced that we can contest, which means there's no basis on which we can argue for the trial to continue. Let me check something else, too. Did he... Is there... The way that he is there another, like... Was there not another... Oh, you can't see the side of the table there. Nope, that doesn't count. There's no... Is that an inconsistency? The fact that, like, this is the chair he was sitting in and that... nah, that's... I feel like it would be established better if that was it. It's just the cow. It's just people with cows have... People with cow tattoos have more than enough hit points to survive a single gunshot. Very well. I will now proceed immediately to the ruling. It seems we'll be able to report to the British government on time after all. I didn't realize I was wearing cool gloves. That smug little... Ryunosuke Naruhodo, having considered all of the evidence placed before... Yes! Wait, Your Excellency! Ryunosuke? I don't think you can rule on this case yet. Yeah, he put down a whole bunch of mountains, and they combined into a big mountain, and it gave him a whole bunch of HP for each mountain adjacent to the big mountain. This amateurness is getting tedious. When His Excellency deems that the trial is over, he gives his ruling. That is the most basic protocol of the courtroom. Yes! Your Excellency... He wasn't wearing that before, was he? He hasn't been wearing that the whole time, and I only just noticed it. Whatever it is. Your Excellency, just a moment ago, you said this. as the photographic print just submitted appears to have no further significance. There's no longer any room for doubt in this matter. I must make my ruling. Now that means if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail, I mean, then ruling on the case at this time would be out of the question.
This is blatant straw clutching. Or
something in Japanese. I don't know. I thought I might know how to say it, but I don't. Neither of the words.
look at this photographic print. All it shows is the handbag the gentlewoman was carrying on the day in question. There can be no problem with this evidence.
You'd better know what you're doing, Ryunosuke.
I understand your objection, counsel. Certainly the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the court's scrutiny. However, I fail to see how we can glean any new information from this handbag. Ha! My thoughts exactly. Really, the prosecution is becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wheezes.
Yes, I am desperate, but this isn't a wheeze. You want something to wheeze about? I'll give you something to wheeze about. There's something about this photograph which doesn't seem right. If only I could put my finger on it.
Very well, I will grant the defense one final opportunity. What? But be warned that if I am unsatisfied by your response here, the trial will be over with immediate effect. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, Your Honor. Now I am fully prepared to accept your final decision. Yes, Your Excellency.
So take another look at the photographic print Inspector Hosonaga submitted before. You will identify for the court where in this print we can see the significant detail to which you have alluded.
Why, it's this. I don't know why.
Yes!
Look at this here. There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist.
That is true. It looks almost like a burn of some description.
Objection!
Dear me, I was pondering what new piffle you would come out with. A burn, you say, on the victim's wrist? Clearly that has nothing to do with the magnificent lady's handbag.
Yes, that is a burn mark. You're right.
Go on, Inspector.
The police coroner also noticed it when he was performing the post-mortem examination. It was deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't note it in his report.
What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? And no possible way of knowing either.